How the mind creates reality, the power of illusion. But before I start, I want you to do me a favor. Save, share, and repost this video before it gets removed. Also, follow the page so you won't miss tactical lessons. Let's begin. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to say might sound simple, but it's one of the deepest truths hidden from the modern world. The power of illusion is about creating a version of reality, even if it's not completely true. It's about influencing how others, or even yourself, see it. It's the art of shaping appearance. It doesn't always mean lying. It means using symbols, confidence, or presentation to create belief. Let me give you an example. In ancient times, the king wore a crown, and the crown itself represented that he was a king. But people believed it represented power, knowing that the real power is the king who wears the crown, not the one who merely touches it. Let's put it this way. Imagine a normal man, a nobody, suddenly puts on a crown. He looks in the mirror and convinces himself that this makes him powerful. He believes that wearing gold on his head turns him into a ruler. But what he doesn't understand is that power isn't in the crown. Power is in the mind that knows how to use it. Now he stands in the middle of the empire, confused, surrounded by wolves dressed as advisors, enemies disguised as friends. Everyone's watching him, waiting for him to make a move. And here's the truth. He doesn't even know how the game works. He doesn't know how to move the king, or the pawns, or when to sacrifice a piece to win the war. See, that's how illusion begins to intercept the mind. They created a reality that was only illusion. That's why rulers became smarter and smarter. They learned how deeply illusion can become a weapon, because it can bend reality. And that's what's happening today. Look. They don't teach you this in school, not because it's useless, but because it's too powerful. Real power comes from control, and the first thing they control is your thinking. Ever wonder why schools teach you formulas, but not how to think for yourself or create your own? It's because they train you to memorize, not to imagine, to obey, not to create. Because a man who can control his mind is dangerous, not violent, but independent. He doesn't need validation. He doesn't chase approval. He builds his own reality. That's why Plato once said, "Reality is created by the mind." We can change our reality by changing our mind. Long ago, that wise man believed the world we see is just a shadow of a deeper truth. The real world exists in thought. So if you knew how strong your mind really is, you wouldn't follow the system. Because once you control your mind, you control your world. But if you never learn how to use it, someone else will. And they're probably using it against you right now. That's why I say, the mind creates reality. And that's why illusion is one of the most powerful tools ever known to man. See, in this modern world, people are slaves. Not with chains, but with distractions. The phone, the news, the constant comparison. It's a digital cage. And what's crazy? People don't even notice it anymore. They think they're free because they can scroll, post, and react. But their attention has been captured. Their reality is being built by someone else. Now let me explain something. In history, the greatest minds already knew this. Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." Meaning, existence itself begins in the mind. If you can think it, you bring it into being. Kant mentioned it too, that we never see the world as it truly is, only as our mind allows us to perceive it. Nietzsche believed that truth itself is a kind of illusion, a useful one that helps us survive, but still, something the mind creates. Schopenhauer said, "The world is my representation. Everything, even what we call reality, is filtered through consciousness." And Machiavelli, the strategist, reminded us, men are more likely to judge by the eyes than by the hands. Meaning, People are driven by appearance, not truth. They believe what they see, even if it's an illusion. That's why power often belongs to those who can control illusion. Kings, leaders, influencers. They don't need to control the sword anymore. They control the story. Because if you can shape how people see, you can shape what they believe is real. Even the Bible understood this power. In Proverbs 23:7 it says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." That's not just poetry. That's psychology before psychology existed. God designed the mind to manifest what it focuses on. Whether faith or fear, abundance or lack, it starts with the mind. Science also proves it. In quantum physics, there's something called the observer effect. Experiments show that particles behave differently when they're observed. Meaning, consciousness literally changes the physical world. And in neuroscience, we know the brain can't perfectly tell the difference between imagination and experience. That's why visualization works. Athletes do it, warriors do it, even healers do it. Because when the mind sees it, the body starts believing it's already real. That's how powerful illusion is. Think about it. That's why an octopus changes its color, shape, and texture depending on the situation. Sometimes it uses camouflage to hide and blend in. Sometimes it uses defensive instinct to intimidate predators. And sometimes predatory adaptation to catch its prey. The octopus adapts reality around it. It doesn't panic. Creates the illusion it needs in order to hunt or survive. Now tell me, how different are we? In this world full of fake lights and false dreams, the smartest ones are those who can see through the illusion or use it wisely. The weak get trapped by what's shown to them. The strong create what they choose to see. That's why I'm here, to teach people to control their mind before the world controls it against them. Because right now, they distract people on purpose. Even you. They keep you scrolling, comparing, doubting yourself. Because if your mind stays lost, they own your reality. But once you realize the power of your own thoughts, that's when the illusion starts to break. And before you scroll away, follow this page. Because once you leave this video, you might never find it again. Just like the first one I uploaded. The algorithm buried it. It doesn't like thinkers. But if you're one of the few who want to wake up, stay close, because this is just the beginning. Let's go deeper. Historically, illusion has built empires. Kings wore crowns not because gold gave them power, but because it made people believe they had it. Priests, rulers, generals, all used symbols to shape illusion. And now, in the modern world, that same illusion comes in new forms. Filters, fame, followers. People don't chase truth, they chase image. That's what Machiavelli meant. Men judge by the eyes. They worship what glitters, not what's real. But if you're wise, you learn to see beyond the eyes. You learn to create illusion on purpose, not to deceive others, but to shape your destiny. Because reality is not fixed, it's flexible. It bends to the strength of your mind. That's why even Jesus said in Mark 11:24, "Whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." That's not magic. That's mental creation. Belief so strong that illusion becomes fact. So remember this. The mind is both your prison and your freedom. If you believe you're trapped, you'll live trapped. If you believe you can rise, the world rearranges itself to make it true. We are not victims of illusion. We are the creators of it. The question is, do you use it consciously? Or does someone else use it on you? Because in the end, the mind doesn't just see reality, it makes it. That's the hidden secret of life that most will never understand. There's a lot more I could share about this topic. I think it's better to filter it into something safer. I could go on and on, because it's written in my personal book. And that book contains brutal truths the world will never teach you. I'm not here for clout. I'm here to use the system, to spread this kind of truth to people, and the manuals of how the mind should work. So now I'll ask you, what do you think about this? Is your mind serving you, or deceiving you? Or is your mind right now believing in the illusion someone else created? Comment your thoughts below. Let's see who's truly awake.